You really want me to go home? Okay, you lose a client. So this is a funny story where I know I wasn't exactly in the right, but it was still malicious compliance. So I'm a software engineer. And I'm a gal. So as you can imagine, I'm always either the only or one of very, very few non-males in the team. This MC is from a previous job of mine. I was the primary SWE, software engineer, on a project. One random Wednesday. Yes, I remember the day of the week. We had a meeting scheduled with the client. This was a large company and the client was in a different country. So the meeting was scheduled virtually. Now if you know anything about me, I'm a bit of a promiscuous gal, and I guess this day I was being a bit silly and wore a dress that was a teeny tiny but too short. At lunch I was told by my manager that someone had complained and I needed to go home and change. I knew I was wrong and immediately apologized, but I brought up the meeting I had coming up. Now, as per company policy, we could not take any company equipment home unless we were the scheduled on call, or unless we had permission. I could not take this call from home without the company laptop. I needed to demo something, and I knew none of the other engineers on my team could manage the demo. Yes, they knew how it worked, but no one knew it as well as me, and they had to refer to manuals to do the demo and answer questions, which is not a great presentation for the client. So I offered two options. 1. I get to take the company laptop home for the night. 2. I sit in one of the conference rooms for the next hour and a half and then join the meeting from that room. I was told neither was an option. I either had to go home and then return after changing, or go home and join in the call via a telephone and let a teammate present. I presented my arguments and my manager then told me that I should change and come back. There's no ways I was doing that, mainly because it would take too long. I made that clear. So he offered that I could take the next off out of my unlimited medical leave if I came back, because he knew how important the client was. I once again suggested I take the company laptop home. I had done it multiple times when I was on call, so it wasn't a trust issue. He said, "No, that's only when you cannot take a call from the office." I gave one more shot to explaining that even if I went home and left right away, I would miss most of the call, but he did not care. He said he would take care of the call until I reached. I said okay and put in the next day off along with an email confirming what we had discussed, and then headed home. I obviously was not in a rush. I got home, changed and went back to the office. As soon as I left home, I started receiving frantic calls asking where I was. I explained that it would take me 45 minutes to reach the office if traffic allowed, and they should start the call. Bottom line, no one was prepared. Everyone freaked out and made a mess of the presentation. The client was unimpressed and did not move forward with any further projects. So yes, I messed up, but I was willing to make up for it. He did not listen to me and chose to dismiss my statements. So I did exactly what he wanted. Could I have stopped at a mall 5 minutes away and picked up leggings? Yes. Did I choose to follow his instructions by the letter? Yes. So your dress was too short for a virtual meeting where mostly only your face would be visible to the client. And rather than them just sucking it up for a day, they lost a client because they sent away the one person who actually knew what was going on. I get that dress code is a thing at offices, but if this client was so important, then I think they could have just left it at come back tomorrow with appropriate clothing instead of leave and come back. Well done on the Mick. Their fault for not being prepared. I tip my hat to you. You made valid choices and your boss didn't listen. Print out the email though, so that when he says something you can slam it on the table. Wearing short skirts doesn't make you promiscuous, but I appreciate the effort nonetheless. when the company policies care more about looks than brains. And this is why managers should not have direct reports in engineering. A lead or principal engineer should work with a manager, but should never be subordinated to one. I stand by this rule and refuse to work for any organization where a manager could have a say in how I, a very senior level engineer, would give a tech presentation to a client. Managers and other business people should learn to stay in their lane. I was being a bit silly and wore a dress that was a teeny tiny but too short. This is such an American stance. Around the year 2000 I had a great colleague. A guy, around 5060, and he was as gay as can be. He came into the office wearing high heels and a miniskirt and with his unshaved hairy legs. Just to give you a picture here. Next he was balding, wore lipstick, earrings and a yellow crop top. He never got sent home. He was a lot of fun to work with, and really knew his stuff. One of the only PPL I miss from that place. I understand there are dress codes for the workplace, but it's also quite easy just not to look. I would probably notice the skirt and then have a full-on conversation with my eyes deadlocked on the eyes, nose, eyebrows. It's easy, and self-control is what separates humans from animals. Your manager is quite thick. It's good that you don't work there anymore. Honestly, the weird part of this to me is that it's been standard for me to bring my work laptop home with me every night for over 15 years over several different jobs. I can't get over the fact you can't take home a company laptop. As an engineer myself, my company gave me a laptop that I was allowed to take home every day if I wanted from day one. I can't imagine not having my laptop with me just in case something happens and I am needed, or I just want to finish up some work later in the evening. Everyone in my company has a laptop they are allowed to take home. This was all prior to COVID. This happens when the rules are more important than the purpose they serve. Idiots deserve what they get. Unless you have some very interesting tattoos on your legs, then whomever reported you is a prick. I would have also wanted to see the policy on dress code. Ridiculous to be concerned about a dress anyway. Bet nobody complained if dudes wore shorts. Not written by any woman that ever existed. Not sure what op hoped to accomplish with this piece of fiction. Promiscuity is unrelated to how one dresses. Now, if you know anything about me, I'm a bit of a promiscuous gal. Honestly thought I was reading something on our slutty confessions for a minute there. So, update on manager's reaction on losing the client? I hoped he didn't blame you. The company has one laptop for on-call? I've never worked for a company in the last 30 years where anyone in the on-call rotation didn't have a laptop. Why? Because if cell service is out or your ISP has an outage, there needs to be additional options, rather than whenever people get back into the office. This is the hit by a bus scenario. If they have one laptop, it tells me they don't consider things beyond immediate cost, which tells me run. They want to save a few bucks and just have someone to blame. Is there a follow-up on what your manager said after the presentation to you and everyone? This feels unrealistic. First, I'm going to assume cleavage was the issue, as we all did plenty of Zooms wearing the nice top pajama bottoms official outfit of COVID. You're telling me there was no sweater anywhere in the entire office? And no stores closer than your home where you could have run out to buy a quick top? I've literally been in situations at work where I needed a whole new outfit stat. Seam of a dress gave out. And it was always resolvable? Even if this story were true, you caused the whole situation by being non-compliant.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.